Hello, this is going to be a brief video about my recent experience within corporate America. It's not going to be anything fancy, and I'm going to try to keep it short as possible. So here it goes. I'm a disabled veteran, and I took a position in another state. And what drew me to this particular position and particular company was that I was told I was going to be able to telecommute. And also the companies was going to pay for me to get their certifications. I would just have to study and work. So once I get to the job, I noticed a particular team lead, which I was under, he would take all the white workers and exclude all the black workers. He would exclude us, and he would go and train them. And so we were left out, and we would ask our coworkers, what were you being trained on? And they wouldn't tell us. We actually figured out that they were being trained on the job that we all was hired for. But the black people were kept getting excluded. We ran this by our director on several occasions, and our director didn't do anything about this issue. So this team lead would also allow the white workers to telecommute to study for their certifications, and one was actually gone almost an entire month. But when it came to the black workers, he did not want us to telecommute, even though we took this position stating that we were able to telecommute. Also, the team lead would fly to another state to run his restaurant. But again, the black people weren't allowed to telecommute like everyone else. Also, one day, this team lead came into the break room where I was at, and I was talking to another coworker regarding my recent engagement. And he came up close behind me, and I'm on break. He came up behind me, and he was right on my backside, and he told me to get back to work. And he whispered that in my ear, and I was very upset. I felt like he invaded my personal space. You're never supposed to get so close on a woman's backside where you are actually physically touching. And that's what happened. I took these issues to the director. He went to HR. He contacted HR for me, and basically HR didn't do much of anything. They made him go to some kind of manager class. But during this time, also, I started having issues with the director. He's white as well. The director put wrong information within my employee record, stating that I struggled to get my certifications and some other stuff that wasn't true. And when I corrected him on this, he still didn't change the information in my record. So all this stuff is going on with the director and team lead. In the meantime, my coworker and I, we're still not getting properly trained. We're still being excluded, and we're supposed to make a work quota. So how are we supposed to hit this quota if we're not properly trained in everything? But we were still being held accountable. Brought this up with HR. They didn't do anything. It got to the point I developed a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress. My coworker, he developed a lot of issues too, just being stressed out within the company. And so he wound up going on medical leave. At one point, I had to go on medical leave at one point because of the stress was overwhelming, but HR did not care at all. I want to say it was almost a year later. It was actually 11 months later when my director finally calls me into his office and asks, well, what was I trained in? And he went through a whole list. And no surprise, I hadn't been trained in much. So now, a year later, he's going to tell me to watch a bunch of videos to train myself, which isn't fair. I should have been properly trained with the first group that I came in with. well, not first group, but the group that I came in with, I should have been trained with them instead of being excluded. And the director and HR should have took this seriously. So I went a step higher. I went to the diversity department that's supposed to make sure everybody's included and no one excluded and no discrimination was going on. I went to that department as well and told them my story and my issues also with my coworker, and they didn't do anything. I also told them that this particular team lead, he did not want my coworker, my black coworker, on an account. So he gave this account to a white coworker after the account holder specifically said that they wanted my black coworker to work because the white one didn't know what he was doing. I also seen the director. He was basically allowing the company to be cheated out of money. And I caught this issue actually working on the project, and I notified him. He didn't do anything about it. Basically, like I said, I got to the point I took medical leave, and while on medical leave, I was laid off. And it sucks. It sucks to be in a position like this because of your skin color. I had to file a charge with the EEOC. The EEOC really didn't do much. And so now it has to go to litigation. Once I noticed the strange behavior that was occurring in my department, I actually started documenting. And so I'll tell anyone, if you're going through anything like this, in particular at your job, I don't care, black, white, or whatever, you need to start documenting so you can take these issues up with HR. And if HR or no one else wants to help, you go a step higher. I even went all the way up to the CEO of the company to let him know, hey, this is what happened to me. This is what's going on. And he didn't do anything either. It's not fair that people can't get out and earn an equal living because of others trying to stop them based on their skin color. And I know I'm not the only one. I know other people are going through this. So you see that email, corporatebullies.gmail.com. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I just want to hear people's stories. I'm thinking about composing some type of blog or something just to share what people are going through and also to give people advice on what I did. And people need to know you don't have to be afraid. You can fight back. And a lot of people choose not to fight back. But I chose to. And so I hope that people I hope that people will understand that racism is alive and well in corporate America, and that these businesses should be held accountable, because HR is supposed to be there to protect the employees, but they're not protecting the employees. They're protecting the higher ups in the company. And this needs to change. No one should have to go through harassment on the job. No one should have to be excluded from a job, and no one should have to go on medical leave because of anxiety and stress from a job. You know, it's sad. So if you or anybody you know have experienced anything like this, just send them to my email address, corpbullies@gmail.com. I can tell them what I did and what I learned to do. Just maybe it can help someone else out. But this racism within corporate America, it needs to stop. And everybody needs to be treated as equals. These higher ups fail to realize they're playing with people's lives, but they really don't care because it's not their lives, and they're going to always protect themselves, which is very sad, but it's the harsh reality. So I apologize if this video was too long. I did leave out a lot of information. I just want to get a majority of this out. So maybe this can help someone that's going through the same situation with me. And I hope you guys share this. I hope you guys send emails because it needs to stop. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.